And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking it all the way back to Warhammer 1 with a Mel Gibson Treekin build. So as far as the matchup goes, it's going to be my Wood Elves facing off against the Bretonnians of Park Map. This may be deja vu for some of you guys, as this battle did take place on one of my streams, I believe like a week or two ago, but it was just so damn good we had to run it back. Now, as far as the build goes, it's going to be kind of a defensive box. Now, normally what ends up happening in this matchup is the Bretonnians come in with, 6 cav units, 3 Knights Errant, Knights of the Realm, they swarm you, they pressure your archer line. And there's a couple ways to go about it. The Wood Elves oftentimes in competitive play, if you're watching like Xiphos play, for example, will come in with, Prey of Anathrema. They'll really use Wild Riders and Sisters run interference, while the Way Watchers get those really valuable sniping attempts. Now, that's very micro-intensive and very hard to do, and is most certainly probably beyond my Wood Elf skill level to accomplish. So this is kind of taking it back to a Warhammer 1 build, where what you do is the front line is Eternal Guard. Obviously, these guys trade okay against Bretonnian Cav. The thing is, they still have 40 armor, so if they're getting hit in the back by like heavy cav charges, they do go down very quickly, but they hold. And honestly, as far as like cheap spear units go, Eternal Guards might be some of the best ones in the game. So front line's going to be a couple of those. And in the secondary here, we do have the Glade Guard with the Starfire Shafts. So these guys are AP archers, 170 range, so they can outrange the Peasant Archers. And with 4 of them, if Bretonnia did come in with a Peasant Archer build, having 4 of them, you could trade 1 for 1 and it would be pretty cost effective for you. And also pretty good against a heavy cav. Now, they're not going to be like Way Watchers that when they hit something, they just melt them, right? They just get their source code deleted, they get sent to another dimension, probably Age of Sigmar, which sucks for them, but it is what it is, but you guys get the picture. So it is going to be Glade Guard with the Starfire Shafts, backed up by War Dancers with Azurai Spears, who are exceptional against heavy cav and monsters and things like that. And also Treekin. So Treekin are interesting. Bretonnian infantry will take 10 years to kill them. They're very tanky. 51 melee defense. They do also have some physical ward save of 20%. So they're very, very annoying to kill. But more importantly, they have charge defense, and they're really good at actually stopping heavy cav. That physical resist plus the high armor, the high melee defense, and the good HP pool, they're an exceptional roadblock against Bretonnian heavy cav. Now, it's a little bit tricky because Bretonnia, of course, does have more cav than you have Treekin, but with good spatial control, good spear placement, you can, usually do okay for yourself. Now, Mel Gibson is a bit of an interesting choice, and for anyone who's new to the channel, we call Orion Mel Gibson because he straight up looks like Mel Gibson. There's not much more to it than that, but yeah, he's an anti-large monster himself. He's really mobile, has good mass, his Javelin isn't bad, and his AoE abilities, the Hawk's Talon and the Hounds of Mel Gibson here, are quite good against archers and, peasant infantry and things like that. Last but not least, we do have a Branch Wraith, and that is pretty much it. And now for my opponent's glorious Bretonnian army. It's pretty classic. It's like a chaff front line, just to kind of wet noodle against your Eternal Guard, while you heavy cav, the Knights of the Realm, the Knights Errant, which I believe in total, yeah, he's got 8 heavy cav. This build is very, very heavily designed to kill like a Way Watcher kiting build, and it probably would be able to do so very, very efficiently. Now the battle is underway. Mel Gibson's going to be coming in trying to get some freebies. Obviously, there's no heavy cav or monsters here, so he's going to be coming in with that giant spear sounding the wild hunts at some point, I'm sure. He's going to be skewering some of these peasants and should have a pretty good time. I don't think I brought his horn because I'm playing like a defensive box build, so charge bonus isn't going to be super useful, but you can see here he's really able to do massive damage against those spearmen, and we do also use the Hounds of Kurnus here, and we get some okay damage, but my opponent Park Map here does a pretty good job at dodging that. Now so far we've done okay. The peasants in the front line are buckling, some of the men-at-arms running away, but now it's very much defensive geometry. We get the spearmen lined up here, the Treekin are kind of buffering here. So wherever he goes, if he goes in here, the spears won't take as much of a hit simply because the Treekin and their mass will absorb a lot of that charge. These heavy cav did pull back because the Knights of the Realm took some substantial firepower here from the Glade Guard, and now the Hawk's Talon from Mel Gibson is going to be procced right here and should do some okay damage. It's like piercing bolts basically from the lower metal, and that was okay. A little bit kind of lackluster if you'd ask me, but it's all good. Now what's cool about Orion is he does cause terror, so against low tier Bretonnian troops he can certainly rout them off, and also he's an anti-large beast. So if he comes in here against Lewin, for example, he can actually go fisticuffs and probably duel Lewin pretty efficiently. So here comes the Treekin, Knights of the Realm. I'm not braced, but I needed to kind of get in position, right? I couldn't afford to kind of wait for them, so the Treekin do take the charge, and if you look at the damage, it's not that much considering, and it buys time for our archers to keep shooting, our Azurai Spears to run in and intercept, and you can see, some of these guys are taking heavy damage from the Azurai Spears, and also from the Eternal Guard, and honestly, the Treekin are punching back okay, especially with a little bit of Melkoth support. Now on the other side of the battlefield, we do have Knights of the Realm piling in. The Azurai Spears mixed with the Treekin, certainly good. Treekin don't really have the stopping power to win the battle on their own, but if they are supported here by the War Dancers with the Azurai Spears, they can certainly do a very, very solid job. So looking around, we do have Lewin up in the sky. Lewin just waiting to kind of snipe, it looks like, and some of my Glade Guard do get taken out. Some of the Knights are able to get through, but as long as we can make him pay the troll toll for his transgression, so when he comes in here, if we can at least make him pay and not give him free value, I feel okay with it. So Orion's going to be charging in, hopefully getting a big anti-large shot right here into the King of Bretonnia, who does trample his girlfriend here, and the Branch Wraith should get back up, no problem. And A little bit of damage going on, it looks like. I think he actually missed both of his attacks, which is unfortunate. Yeah, he got a little bit mucked up there, but still not bad. Now, as far as the archer situation goes, we do have some Glade Guard with these Starfire Shafts here. We also have some hiding under these Treekin. Now it looks like a Manticore Summon is coming down from Bretonnia, so he does have a Damsel of Beasts, which is not as uncommon as you think. Usually you do see life with this many cav units and Lewin and things like that, but Lewin can heal himself, so I guess you don't really need it as much. So the Treekin and the Spears are going to be collapsing in. The defenders of Fleur-de-Lis going to be running away. The mighty Mel Gibson charging and taking down some of those Bretonnian Knights on the pursuit. Archer is certainly doing well, but here you can see some Spearmen at arms have penetrated the front line, and the front line should favor me. My Eternal Guard will win most of those engagements, but I only have so many resources. I can't defend all my archers at once, and right here you can see he gets a very good charge here into my archers with the Knights of the Realm. And the War Dancers with Azurai Spears will now be jumping in there, backed up by some of the Treekin, and we'll see if we can block those guys up and hopefully take them down. But the thing is like, yeah, they're doing good damage to my archers, but on that same note, I have Azurai Spears, I have Orion here, I have Eternal Guard. A lot of those cav units are taking some pretty serious casualties every time they come in. And some of the Bretonnian Knights, for that matter, are also trapped amongst the Eternal Guard and some of the Treekin. Treekin, again, very, very high mass units. And like I said in the front line, Eternal Guard, these ones have been cycle charged by Knights Errant, been fighting Spearmen at Arms, and they've kind of won that situation 2v1. A very, very solid spear unit. And here you can see the Spearmen at Arms with shields are getting worn down, and on the far side, the Eternal Guard are winning all their engagements there. So as long as I can just trade evenly in the back line, eventually I will win the front line, and I can kind of solidify my troops and hopefully be okay. One thing to really watch out for, though, I got to make sure Lewin doesn't come after, my units and really, I wonder who would win in a duel. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a test after this video between Orion and King Lewin. I think that could be fun. Yeah, we'll do that after this battle's over here. So Orion's going to be running about, just kind of screening out King Lewin, watching where he's going. We got some archers back online, which is good. And here comes the Duel of Duels. Orion is going to be staggered a little bit, knocked over, but that's okay. That means he's not taking damage, and some Knights are going to be charging him as well. Orion isn't the tankiest of lads, only 30 armor and 40 melee defense. However, he does have an item called the Cloak of Aisha, so that when he gets below a certain percentage of health, he gets 44% ward save and also heals himself, so he certainly becomes quite tough to take down. Now, for the first time in the battle, it's really starting to show that the Treekin are holding the archer lines or what's left of them alive, and most of my spear units, have been able to endure. Here's a damsel as well. She's certainly in the wrong neighborhood. Orion is eyeing his prey, perhaps going to be coming up here after the Knights of the Realm are dealt with, and the Manticore is being used to go after my Branch Wraith, which is a good choice. But again, I have the Treekin here. They can be used as a roadblock, but I can't remember if I end up doing that or if I go somewhere else. But looks like the Manticore is picking a fight with those Treekin, so maybe they'll just turn around and fight right back. Melee defense on these guys is 51. Melee attack is 31, which I suppose is enough to fight like baseline chaff troops and things like that. And over here, Orion was able to clean off some of the Knights of the Realm, and what's cool is, like, even if he's being kited in the late game, it's not the best weapon in the game, but his Javelin throw really isn't terrible. It has some pretty good AP and can really punch down some of those, heavy cav and things like that. Granted, he's very needed back here. My opponent with a very nice play. He's able to get his big old Lewin and jump down and go after the Branch Wraith. I do respond with an Earthblood, but not before he gets some good value. So perk map, certainly doing a good way, scrapping his way back into this game here with the Feral Manticore, but I feel like once Orion gets back and I'm able to centralize a bit of a Death Star, it's going to be very, very tough to bring these guys down. And I wanted to play this game because in the, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but in the Faction War, Falcon had a really cool game with Orion. Granted, his build was very different, and I don't think a Wild Rider rush would work very well against Bretonnia because Wild Riders do lack AP. Therefore, if they're having to fight Bretonnia Knights, which have, 80 armor here, Knights of the Realm have 90 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they have 90, and some of the other Bretonnia Knights, like Grell Knights, of course, are getting even scarier there. But the Branch Wraith is going to have a good old fight here with the Damsel of Beasts, who does drop a really nice Flock of Doom on my blob here. But I have been able to protect my archers. The Glade Guard with the Starfire Shafts slowly whittling down the Bretonnia Knights as they come in. And now we have the mighty Orion doing battle here with King Lewin. And Lewin is going to be forced back. Yeah, we'll do that duel afterwards. I'll play with Orion and we'll let the AI control Lewin. And, for the most part, they should pop their abilities. It's not the best test of things, but yeah, I'd be curious how he would actually hold up there. I feel like Orion's combat stats are really good, but Lewin is quite a monster as well with his regeneration. So peasant mobs here are piling in to fight the Eternal Guard, who are still are confident. They are exhausted. They've been fighting quite hard and long in those grindy frontline engagements. We're leaving some of the Treekin here to actually protect the Glade Guard with the Starfire Shafts, and we still have plenty of the Azurai Spears. Now my opponent has a little bit of cycling potential here with the defenders of Fleur-de-Lis, but I think it's rapidly becoming an issue that he can't deal with the Treekin. Lewin could probably eventually solo these Treekin, but that would probably take a good 4 or 5 minutes of combat, where he would, need to not being beaten down by other troops. Oh my god, the steel chair right there. You can see that Damsel gets absolutely KO'd by Mel Gibson. Hawk's Talon going down here as well. It's going to be nuking here against the peasant mobs. And now some of the Bretonnian heavy cav going to be charging into my unbraced hides here. Still scrapping very well despite being reasonably behind here in this game. But I think that is going to be the end of days for Bretonnia, as if you really look around, it's a couple Knights Errant. I mean, some very, very tattered cav units, and mainly it's just Big Papa King Lewin here, which I don't think is going to be enough. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding as the peasants get cleaned up, and army losses should be triggered here in a second. Lewin does land for the last stand here in this moment. Lion Shield and all those buffs popped, and now you can see the Treekin holding him in place while the anti-large weapons of the Eternal Guard chip away at Beaky here, whatever this bird's name is. And Lion Shield gives magic resist, and I think Durthu, not Durthu, but Orion does do magic damage or something. I guess not. I could have sworn one of his attacks did magic damage. That is going to be all she wrote. Well played to my opponent. It was certainly a fun game, a very unorthodox build. I mean, most Bretonnian players are going to be expecting a ton of, Way Watchers and kiting and Prey of Anothrema, and that's why you bring so many cav, because you can overwhelm them. So what he brought was certainly very solid against traditional Wood Elves. Against my build, it certainly had the teeth to win. I just feel like the cav got dragged into too many bad engagements. And yeah, Tree can make decent roadblocks. I wouldn't say this build is like super solid, but I think it certainly, could win some games if you're able to really have that good defensive geometry. So well played to Park Map. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Wood Elf game. Certainly a very rare sighting on the channel. And now we're going to jump on over and set up the Duel of Duels. So we'll tank together and chat. We'll have a good old time. So we're going to be testing Mel Gibson. So let me go ahead and get him. I'm like, I play Wood Elves so rarely that I'm like looking around. I'm like, where are they? So we'll give him the charge bonus thing. Not that it matters, because obviously Lewin is just going to be getting the charge. We'll get Bretonnia here as well. We'll get Lewin. Lewin is going to be kitted out on his biggest beastie here, because that's really the true test. He has all his items. I think we're good to go. And we don't want to do it. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, why do you do that to me? Why? All right, we'll go back. Let's get Orion. We need to make sure to give him all his items. And he's 2,400. I'm just kind of curious how he'll trade with like a big combat lord like Lewin. Granted, Lewin's advantage is flying, and sometimes flying characters won't trade as well. But it's 24 against 28. So we'll load in and see how this goes. Anyways, guys, just want to thank you for joining, hanging out. If there's any content you guys would be interested in seeing on the channel, do let me know. I've been a little bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say I've hit a wall, but I've been having trouble deciding what kind of like list videos and guide videos I want to do and things like that. Part of me is like waiting for game 3, because like I feel like so much is going to change that making those guides, they're going to become outdated pretty quick. So I don't know, I'm just kind of on the fence here. So just to speed things up a little bit, I guess we'll stay back here because we do have the javelin throw. So Lewin is going to take leadership till he lands, but as soon as he lands, it won't be a problem. So all right, so let's start throwing some of these spears here. Yes, perfect. I think we made contact. Oh, we actually hit him. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? I guess the other abilities like the Hawk's Talon and things like that aren't really necessary. So can we get one more spear throw? We'll pop this. Nope, can't get it. Now we're in combat. We get knocked over, which I suppose is the good thing. And I guess the charge bonus item, we'll pop it. Just in case, a little bit of juking on the ground here. So we'll fast forward this duel here. It seems like Mel is doing pretty good. And the AI, wow, look at the AI cycle charging. What is this? They've learned. They've adapted. All right, so we're clicking. We're fighting. Seems like quite a scrap. I don't know if this is actually going to do anything, but it's free to cast, so maybe it'll do some damage here. Come on, Orion. We believe in you. Lewin's pretty low. Oh, that actually does some work. Yeah, that's like piercing bolts. You could use that in a duelist situation. Now, what becomes really scary is that Orion is unbreakable. So he tries to run away, takes a poke. Obviously, the AI testing isn't the best. But, he's refreshing his charge bonus on me, which is certainly substantial, 75. But, look at that. Orion's got his spear throw here. That's kind of cool, isn't it? You have the Foe Seeker, so we'll go ahead and pop this to get the bigger buff. Now we can fight here. That's fine. We'll fast forward again. I don't know. We now should have the 44% ward save here pretty soon. Yeah, leadership becomes an issue for Lewin. What is the Cloak of Isha? I think it's 44%. Yeah, it is. All right, let's keep throwing some spears up at him. See if we can get at least one here. Oh, yeah, right in the hide, baby. I'll teach you to cycle charge. I have to wonder how it would have been. Would it have been better for him to not cycle charge? Hard to say. So we can't charge him, unfortunately. He always gets the engagement on us. 709, but we are healing. And do get the 44% ward save. And the anti-large is really a big factor, too. I mean, I have 500 plus. And since he's unbreakable, his frenzy never breaks. Yeah, Lewin's negative 20. So, I mean, that could go either way, that one. It really could. Let's give him the ceremonial send-off here. Come on, get him. Throw the spear. Oh, from downtown, 7 HP. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video, plus the little absurd testing we did there at the end. If it were a player, I mean, Lewin, I don't know, the cycle charging was decent. Like, I have to think, he took a couple attacks when he was running, but he also got to get, like, that huge charge bonus reset, which is big. Yeah, but, I mean, Orion can scrap with the best of them. I mean, I'm pretty sure Franz would kill him, because Franz, Gall, Miraz, and Reikland Runefang would just be crazy, but, yeah, at least against Lewin, he can put up a fight for sure. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining. We'll see you back with more battles, streams, all sorts of good stuff coming up on the near horizon. And until then, you guys stay safe. Cheers.